Welcome, this is the last Chronicles of Planet Earth with Frank DiMora. You can visit my website, www.dimoraministry.com. I'm going to cover many prophecies today and connect the dots for you between the current events and what the prophecy said about this generation, what we should be looking for. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to read a couple different verses. You can please look it up for yourself so that you'll understand that what I'm saying, I'm quoting right from the text, right from the Bible itself. From Zechariah chapter 12 verse 3, we read that, "In that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut into pieces, although the people of the earth be gathered against it." So this particular prophecy homes in on the fact that Jerusalem was going to be a burdensome stone for this generation, and that anybody that messed around with Jerusalem, according to the scripture, it says that they will be cut into pieces. Now, the other prophecy that I want to cover with you is coming from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. And this is where Paul warns, "While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come upon them suddenly as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape." This has to do with the peace process. And as Israel and the Arabs are calling for peace and safety, then we are told that you're going to see sudden destruction that will come during the time that they are trying to get peace and security. Now, the next one I'm going to cite for you is from Psalm 83. Now, Psalm 83 is, instead of reading the whole thing, I just want to give you a little glimpse of Psalm 83, because this is a war that hasn't been fought yet. Now, this war will be fought very soon, and I believe it's going to happen because of the failed peace process. And in Psalm, we read that you're going to see the Palestinians are involved, the Lebanese, Lebanon are going to be involved in this war, Jordan, Syria, the Gaza. You're going to see the people who are living in the Gaza and in Lebanon, like the Hamas and the Hezbollah, the factions of the Palestinians who are also mentioned in this war. All these nations, including Egypt and Saudi Arabia, they will be coming against Israel. All the bordering nations that surround Israel will be attacking Israel in the last days. We believe that all these prophecies are coming together because we see them in the news, and we're seeing the burden of Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is the major problem with the peace process. It's failing. We see that Jerusalem has always been a major contention to the Arabs, because they want Jerusalem back as their holy city to make it a capital. They want to split up Israel into a two states, and so everything is focused around Jerusalem. And it is, in fact, the fulfillment of the prophecy of the burden of Jerusalem. So let me get in. When you scroll down, if you're at my website, scroll down and you could link right up to the news sources yourself. I provide the link there for you, so just click on the link. But right now, Benjamin Netanyahu, the article that I just pulled up, it says, the headline, "Netanyahu, Palestinians are dodging direct Mideast peace talks." Benjamin Netanyahu speaking during a weekly cabinet meeting at his Jerusalem office, and this came out in July of the 25th of 2010. Palestinian President Abbas has conditioned a move to direct negotiations with guarantees regarding security, borders for the future Palestinian state. Now, the borders are a major issue in the failing peace process, because obviously the Palestinians want their territory that they lost in '67, and that was the territory that housed their the mosque, or the what they believe is the third holiest site for the Islamic faith, right there on the Temple Mount, where the temple, the Jewish temple, used to stay, where it was in the first and the second temple. And the third temple is going to be resurrected. We believe that that'll be happening soon. It goes on to say the Palestinian Authority is determined to sabotage attempts to upgrade the ongoing proximity talks or the Middle East peace talks with direct negotiations. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Monday, adding that the direct talks were only a way to ensure Israel's security and interest. In other words, direct talks, sit down face to face with the Palestinians to work these things out. And obviously that hasn't been happening, and we know that the other part of the prophecy, the sudden destruction, it says when they'll talk peace and safety, sudden destruction, and that's going to happen very soon. It says continuous previous efforts encouraged direct talks with Israel that took place during the stint as president of the European Union and ended 1 month ago. The Spanish Foreign Minister Miguel Angelo Martinez will meet with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Amman this Tuesday. So they're getting together, discussing the peace process, just like we know that the prophecy says. Abbas has recently indicated that he will resist United States pressure for a face-to-face peace talks with Israel for now, saying indirect negotiations must make progress first. And he doesn't want to sit down with them unless, in previous articles I showed you this, unless the Israel stipulates that they are willing to give the borders that they lost back to the Palestinians, give it back to them. And that means Israel would have to hand over East Jerusalem, where their holy temple used to stand, and I doubt that that's ever going to happen. So the Palestinian president has said that he wants the indirect negotiations to produce results on issues of security and borders of the future Palestinian state to be founded alongside Israel on land captured in 1967. So there you go. It spells it out again. The peace process keeps falling apart, and the reason why it is falling apart is because Israel is very reluctant to ever give away their most holy city. Don't believe that that's ever going to happen. Now when you scroll down, it says the IDF strikes 3 Gaza targets. Now I'm not going to read the whole article, but this past weekend there was more rockets going into Israel being fired by the Palestinian people. And we know what happened in 2006, the rockets, 7,000. We've seen hundreds of rockets. And then in 2009 we saw 7,000 rockets being fired from the Palestinians into Israel, and Israel responded. And they went into the Gaza Strip, and then most of the world came against them because they finally retaliated against these rockets. But Israel hadn't a choice. They had to go in because they were killing their people from all these shellings. Now I'm going to continue on because there's a lot of news about the peace and safety and the burden of Jerusalem. And I need a little bit more time to close this section out, because all these things are really important because they're all happening right now at the same time. And these are the things that the Lord told us to watch for. So scroll down and we'll get into part 2 of today's prophecy update. Thanks.